Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice hour of some improvised live looping. All vocals. We have got the foundations of a beat. Everything you hear is made with just vocals. I'm going to be building up this beat over the course of the next hour or so. By your side. We're going to bring in the synthesizer in addition to the vocals only live looping. We might talk about stuff if that's where the stream goes. Man, this is going to be so good. It's called Tinker Time. My regulars know what it is. Speaking of my regulars, I see with us already. Victor! And also the observer of if you are new, to the Reconsider It live streams, welcome! made the right decision joining us. We want you here. Friends, right now we are in a warm-up phase. We are just getting the blood flowing, getting ourselves situated, getting acclimated to this very exciting foundation of a beat that we'll be building up more of a beat upon and jamming out to. And here in this warm-up phase, I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate whether you are here with us live in the chat, whether you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, whether you are here with us after the live, you are watching on replay. However it is that you are here with us, thank you for being here. I am going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I am going to count to 3 and I am going to clink. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. Friends, it begins on 1, and we then quickly move to 2, and then it all culminates on 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. That, man, that's good. I love connecting with you in this way. Whew. Man, that cheers is just always so good. It's really the best. It's like the best, the goodest, the most good thing. It's something that I like. I like it a lot. It is good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Yes, but I've already liked the video. I have already subscribed. Well, that's good then. You can please share this video with a friend. Friends, we have got a Tinker stream on our hands. This is really good. This is really good. Oh, man. So as far as tinker topics, tinker time topics, there's another one I wanted to suggest. The most recent tinker stream, I talked about, what was it, navigating from the present into the future. That, like, you know, plonk instant or whatever it is, whatever the smallest measurement of time is. But as you discreetly move through these, I guess, quantum leaps of time, how do you navigate that present into the future? So that was a topic from the previous stream, and other things as well in other streams. But I have one for bringing up that I don't necessarily intend to talk about right now, but the last time I did that, I wound up talking about it for a while. So the topic of this stream that I mean to put forth as a suggestion is the idea that your mind abhors a vacuum. You've heard of the idea that nature abhors a vacuum. Nature does what it can to not let vacuums exist. within a, let's say, a localized, pressurized system. Nature abhors a vacuum. Your mind abhors a vacuum too. And what that means is, in the case of your mind, what does it mean that your mind abhors a vacuum? Well, think about this. Think about some, some situation or some area of your life or some, recent turn of events or something. Something you personally live or experience. Where you spent some amount of time, and this is all in retrospect, by the way. I'm going to give you this whole little narrative, and the idea is just try to think of a time when you experienced this. When you didn't know you were mistaken, but you mistakenly thought something. You came to some kind of conclusion based on some information. And then you came to whatever conclusion and you did whatever thing. You might have taken some action, you might have not taken some action. But in your mind, you came to some kind of conclusion. You formed a view. You formed a view of someone. You drew a conclusion about something. But then later you discovered or realized or something that you didn't have all the information before. What you had was true, in the sense that it was not false. What you had was not false, but it was incomplete or is misleading, or you just innocently didn't notice something critical before. And you have a totally different opinion now, or at least, let's say, non-trivially different now. But at the time, you thought what you thought. You came to the conclusion you came to, and all of this. You were wrong, but you didn't know you were wrong. You're convinced that you're, drawing a reasonable conclusion based on information you had. You didn't have all the information, though. You thought you did. Or at least, you thought that what you had was all the information. You see it differently now, because at some point you got more information, or you got more context, or you got more distance, so you could see it more clearly, whatever the case may be. Now here's the idea. You had originally drawn conclusion A. You were like, man, I know this and this and this. So therefore I draw conclusion A. And then later on, you had your own whatever realizations. And now you draw conclusion B. Here's the question. Here's the question. While you had drawn conclusion A, the old conclusion that you understand now that you were wrong in that conclusion, but that was the conclusion you drew at the time. When you had drawn conclusion A, did you think you were wrong? There's this general phenomenon. You know, psychology does not work like material physics. Psychology is just totally different. Pardon me as I yiggity yizz on. Anyway, there's this phenomenon where, as I say, your mind abhors a vacuum. Where even when you don't have enough information, you will still act as though you do. You'll still think you have all the information. Because generally speaking, you're not aware of what you're not aware of. So you're kind of, in some sense, unless you've made some kind of life discipline about this, the majority of people are just sort of always thinking that they know, that they're seeing clearly, and that they have a strong grasp on things, and none of that's true. You don't understand anything. Oh man, it's always so hilarious how people think they understand. Like, oh my goodness. You can understand like isolated topics. You can understand things in theory, but in terms of like what's going on around you in life, in your life, in the world as a whole, nobody has any idea what is going on. But we always operate as though we do. So your mind abhors a vacuum. Even in the absence of knowledge, even in the absence of information, even in the absence of context, you will act as though, you'll tell yourself, you will think sincerely with like your most sincere, deepest heart of hearts, you will think that you know how to interpret this. Oh, that person was late coming to our meeting. What a disorganized, unreliable person that is. As if you know anything about why that person's late. As if you know anything. Oh my goodness, you don't know anything at all. You have the right to be a little miffed, maybe. Be like, the rest of us got here on time. It'd be one thing if you were 30 seconds late, but this is like, you're, 7.5 minutes late. You missed a lot. You can be miffed, but you're in no position to act as though you know what that person is. What puts that person in this position, in this behavior? What makes this person into the puppet acting out this behavior? You don't know. But you think you do. You totally think you do. And everybody does. Unless, as I say, unless you have some kind of life discipline about this. Some kind of consciously, intentionally developed skill by which you're always like questioning whether you understand clearly and trying to be extra humble and realize that you're trying to like have extra compassion, but all of those are not naturally occurring things. That's you working hard. If someone else down the street, if they're not working hard at that like you are, they just think they understand everything. Imagine you're talking to two people and you're trying to explain something to them. They got to do something and you're like trying to clarify for them what they have to do. So you're talking to these two people. And you talk to them, And you take however long you take. Let's say it's like 5 minutes or something. And then you said everything you need to say. You had a little back and forth with them. You got a sense of whether they understood what you were saying. And you look at the first person. First person, you listen to them, you have a back and forth with them. They put it in their own words and explain it back to you. And you say, all right, this person has a pretty strong grasp on what I'm saying here. They understand what I'm saying. You go to the other person, you go to the second person. You have a back and forth with them. They try to explain it back to you, and you're like, oh man, this person does not know. And you talk more with them, etc. But here's the idea. Think about the two people. The first person and the second person. The first person was right. The second person was not right. The first person came to their conclusions and their understanding. They listened to you, the things you were telling them. They felt they understood. And then they tried to explain it back to you. And they got it right. So I'm going to rewind and slow that down a little bit. They listened to you. They felt they understood. Stop right there. They felt they understood. Now you go to the second person. That other person listened to you. That other person also felt they understood. They explained it back. They got it wrong. But they also felt they understood. So here's the thing to mull over and contemplate. What is the difference in how a person feels? Just their subjective sense of what's going on. Their sense of, not necessarily a sense of themselves, but their sense of the situation. What's the difference between somebody in terms of how they feel? When they feel they got something right, and they did, versus when someone feels they got something right, but they did not, and they're wrong. When someone's wrong, they feel right, just like somebody who's right and feels that they're right. The most humble person is somebody who is right, but feels that they might not be right. So there's this phenomenon where you can't really just trust your sense of whether you got it right. That's not a reliable compass. You could be right, but you don't know if you got it right. You can't just trust your sense of whether you got it right. In principle, this is what the scientific method is meant to protect against. It's meant to, even though, nowadays the body of scientific knowledge is not necessarily something that was arrived at through the scientific method. See, there's some nice chats going on at the moment. Warheart saying he's reliably wrong a lot. Yeah, that's the idea. Warheart is riffing on this idea. So, your mind abhors a vacuum. The mind abhors a vacuum. The mind fills in its own meaning. When you're wrong, you don't know it. When you're lacking information, you don't know it. When you're lacking context, you don't know it. You think you see everything. You think that you get it. Because you see the physical world, you imagine that there's nothing more to see. And so you're like, well, I see everything. That's all the stuff. There's no other objects made of molecules. I see everything. And you just assume that you also see all the information in the context. And then on one hand, one life lesson to draw from this is that you may find it to be a worthwhile discipline to try to humble yourself through this. On whatever regular basis you can, have reflections and say, hey, you know what? I don't have all the information here. There's probably some relevant context that would totally change my understanding of this. Just stuff like that. That's one nice lifelong ideal to strive toward. But also, this is useful so that you understand other people better. You understand the behavior you see in people better, both individually and sociologically. It also can help you to get out of the way of danger. Sort of like if there's somebody who is blind but holding a machete. If you realize that, you'd be like, whoa, hold on. You probably would get out of there. You would just be not in that place. Similarly, if you understand that, like, somebody can be very much lacking information, and by the way, none of this has anything to do with intelligence. You can't, like, be more intelligent than this. It's not, like, your mind works this way too. This has zero to do with intelligence. It's like blind spots of your, not exactly your neurology, but your, let's say your ego, your mental model of the world and reality. It happens this way. You have blind spots. You have things you're not aware of. Things you're not aware of in terms of, the world around you, people around you, all this. Anyway, Just like it would be handy to know, oh, hey, that person who is visually impaired, yet nonetheless is holding a machete, you probably would just be absent immediately. There would be a U-shaped cloud where you just were a second ago, but you yipped just so quickly and probes just talk about having reliable data. Even that's further not what I'm talking about. There's something more subtle than that. Like, you could be looking at data and still get it totally wrong. In fact, can I say most? I think it is most, but I'm gonna walk that back and say much of modern research that is published, much of it is just wrong, and it's proven mistaken within a year or a couple of years. It's just all sorts of mistakes all over the place. It's built on what they thought was good research, good data, but that other research wound up being wrong. And now this other one that was dependent on it is also wrong, but it didn't get flagged as such. And then other things that get built on it. Like, there's so much corruption in the body of, let's say, available knowledge and available information. We don't really have access to good information. That's an unglamorous truth about the world. I'm not saying truth about reality, but I am saying truth about the world. We don't really have access to good information or good data about anything. You have access to information about, like, what's in your pocket right now. That's about it. We don't really know anything. We live sociologically, we live in narratives. That's what we live in. We live in narratives. We live in, like, a sphere of opinions and views. People who have persuasion skills tend to dominate that sphere. People who are highly persuasive tend to have their views be the ones that are most pervasive and dominant. But it's all just, it's views and perspectives. There's not a lot that you can see clearly. There's very, very little that you have clear access to. And most of it is just directly related to you in your personal life. Like, that's kind of, and even that, you don't have the real information. You have very skewed information there. But that's where you have the most. That's where you have the greatest just volume, just quantity of information, is your personal, like, sensory, what you hear with your own ears, what you see with your own eyes. Not a video you watched with your own eyes. No. Not something you read with your own eyes. No. Like, you see this thing in front of you and you could touch it with your hand. That stuff. That is the parts of reality that you have access to. That's about it. Everything else is just like what someone said. And reality has, like, there's a reason that exists. It's not like there's just all chaos and corruption, and there's a lot of corruption in human society, which is what I meant earlier when I said the world. We don't know what's going on in the world, in human society. We don't have any idea at all. We don't have any idea. We don't have any idea. People get so worked up. They get so worked up about what's going on in the world and such. It's understandable. There's, like, human dimensions, and there's heartstrings and all of this. but it's just what someone said. Like you don't really know what's going on. I forget where I heard this. But think about this. Think about somebody who you know personally, just like a personal friend or colleague or family member, loved one, maybe even a spouse or partner. Ideally, you could think of a spouse or partner as I tell you this next thing, because you're the most close with that person. But anyone you're close to will do. Just think of someone who you're close to. Someone who you have, extended one-on-one experiences with. Who you talk to extensively about stuff, just like the mundane things of your life. Somebody you're close to. Now think about, have you ever thought something about that person, like something they were gonna do, but you were wrong and they did something else? Or something they thought, like you thought they were thinking something or feeling something, but you wound up being wrong. They weren't thinking that at all. They were thinking about something else or whatever. Or you forgot something that mattered to them. Just think about whether you've ever had, this is a yes/no question. Have you ever, even one time ever, have you ever directly experienced somebody you're really close to, who you know really well, or they know you really well, and you had some kind of like total missed each other miscommunication? You were just way wrong about what they were doing that afternoon, or just whatever it was. Has that ever happened? Have you ever had a close partner or a friend or family member or a coworker where you thought something or you assumed something and you were just way wrong? By the way, the answer to this question is yes. That has happened. In fact, the real question is, think about how often that's happened. And the answer is, a lot. Your closest relationships with the people you know the most and who know you the most. Your closest relationships where you spend time with each other. Your lives are intertwined. You couldn't know more. And you're still wrong. A lot. And people walk around with the audacity to think that they know anything. That they know anything at all about what's going on. We don't know anything. You don't know your closest loved one. We don't know anything. You have no idea what made someone be in the position they're in and made them do what they did. You have absolutely no idea. All you know is what someone else told you to think about it. And so that's the main topic of this. The suggested Tinker Time conversation piece. I actually meant it to go in a different direction as well. That one about like your people you're close to and how you get it wrong with them too. That was the way I was actually intending this to go, but I wound up making it more of like a social commentary kind of thing. But with people that you're close to, there's always gaps of information that you have or context that you have. And it's useful if you know, it's useful for you in your relationships, your personal relationships, even your business relationships outside of personal relationships. It's useful to know that when you are lacking information, your mind is filling in the blanks. That's what this is all about. And it looks to you like you have all the information. You are convinced you have all the information. But that's just your mind operating with the information it does have. And not concerning itself with information it doesn't have. And in your personal relationships, you're filling in the blanks as well. What are you filling in the blanks with? Your assumptions, things you want to be true, memories on the lowest level, you're filling it in with memories. If you had bad memories, now you're feeling anxious about this thing that you don't have information about. And that brings me to the purpose of this topic. What is the purpose of having any awareness of this idea of how your mind abhors the vacuum, your mind fills in the blanks, or more accurately, it's not that it fills in the blanks, it's that it just operates with what it has, and it just doesn't concern itself with what it doesn't have. It's like a blind spot in your eye, both of your eyes. Both of your eyes have blind spots in them. And it's a specific spot where there is no nerves, because that's where your optic nerve exits your eyeball and it goes into your brain. So there's like a spot on both of your eyes where there aren't any, what are they, optic receptors? I don't know what the technical term is for it. But there aren't any of the rods and cones that are getting stimulated by light, by photons. There's just a spot on both of your eyeballs that you don't have any visual receptors at all. And it's happening right now. If you are able to see stuff, then right now in your visual field, there are actually, in fact, 2 huge holes. That's actually what's happening for real, but it doesn't look that way to you, does it? You don't walk around with the perception and awareness that you have these 2 gaping holes in your visual field. That's not how that works. And even if you like close one eye, you still don't see one big hole. Your mind, the way that you receive and process information is just based on the information you do receive. You do not have some kind of objectivity through which you are processing your experiences. That's not what's happening. You're getting a very, 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 very small slice of information about the world around you through your sensory perceptions. You're getting a very, very, very small bit of information, and your mind just operates on what it operates on. And it doesn't even think about or concern itself with the fact that there are 2 big holes in your visual field. It just says, well, I guess visual fields are like this. You get information like this for visual fields. And this is all the information for visual fields. And then in your conscious awareness, you have this thing called a visual field. And it doesn't look like there's holes in it. It just looks like it looks. Like. And the more that you understand things like this, the more not only does it empower you in your life, but it also brings you peace. It helps you to understand a lot about human behavior, why people do things they do, why they don't do things they don't do. So this is one topic that I mean to bring more into Tinker discussions as an ongoing theme. There are a few ongoing themes. I haven't written them down. I do have a piece of paper on the wall over there that's in principle supposed to be that. What are the ongoing themes? But I didn't really make it properly. I just kind of threw some things on there. Anyway, that's a separate topic. Mind abhors a vacuum. You're not aware of your own biases and distortions. You know, it's been popular in at least American culture. I mean, other places too, but what I say now is I'm only commenting on American culture. In the past, like 5 to 10 years or so, it's been really popular, this idea of unconscious biases. That's been a relatively prominent, you know, topical thing, almost a fad. Shout out to my people in the year 8002. But in the past 5 to 10 years or so, or whatever it is, and I say this in the year, in January 2026 is when I'm saying all this. Past 5 to 10 years or so of American culture, it's been really popular to have this idea of unconscious biases and try to, like, you know, gain whatever awareness you can gain. And there's sometimes, and I've been involved in a lot of those discussions, I do some of that professionally. Not as much as all the other things that I talk about here on these streams. I talk about how I'm a professional speaker and all this. The stuff about the unconscious biases, that's only a small part of. That's not a huge area of my focus. There's just a little small part. But I have been involved in some of those discussions and even trainings on that stuff. And there's always a plurality of, let's say, characters in terms of how people respond to this topic of unconscious biases. And these are things like recency bias. You know, if you heard 5 bits of information, or you heard 5 interpretations of something, you will tend to accept most the one that you heard most recently. You'll be most influenced by the one you heard most recently. As much as we can sit here and act like we're these rational beings who can discern the truth, we cannot. It is big delusional to think that, like, you understand things clearly. You really don't. Anyway, as I was saying, to this topic of unconscious biases, there's a few characters, and you probably have, you know, at least one, but probably a couple of these characters in you, in your heart. When we get into the topic of unconscious biases, what are some of the characters? How do people respond? Well, some people get upset. We don't really need to spend a lot of time on that one. Some people get upset, they get reactive, they get like argumentative, they really don't want to be part of the discussion, they don't like it, they feel like it's confrontational and accusatory. And to be fair, some people who lead the discussions can have, let's say, a very unfair resentment toward the people that they're training. And that can come through. So if somebody feels defensive, that's not coming out of nowhere. But it's also missing the point of this topic of unconscious biases. There's also similarity bias. I mean, there's so many of these things. Similarity bias, where you tend to agree with, to accept, to side with people who you like relate with or identify with more than somebody who you don't understand them, or you think they're a weirdo, or they're not part of your group, or whatever. You tend to show favoritism in these ways. Or there's, this is one of the ones that's most tragic of these unconscious biases. But there's the idea of the bystander effect. You've heard of that one? The bystander effect, where if there's something that needs attention, it could be some kind of like urgent crisis, or not necessarily an urgent crisis. It could be a slow-moving problem. But something that needs attention. And it's happening in a place where there's a lot of people. It's happening in public, or it's happening like in the workplace, in some kind of shared workspace. There's something that needs attention. There's this sociological tendency for no one to deal with it, because everybody thinks someone else is going to deal with it. Everybody just thinks it's somebody else's responsibility. And then it doesn't get dealt with. Whether it's some kind of slow-moving disaster, or it's an urgent problem that really needs attention immediately. Somebody crying for help, but everybody assuming that somebody else is, calling the police, and nobody does anything, and the person doesn't get helped because nobody was calling the police. Everybody assumed someone else was. Bystander effect. Anyway, I got off topic again because I was trying to talk about the way people receive this subject matter of unconscious biases. So as I say, some people get upset and, defensive. And as I say, it's not like that's coming out of nowhere. Other times, there's other people who they don't think any of this is real. They're like, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying, but I'm able to overcome this stuff. It's like, you are not understanding the topic at all. The whole point of it is that you can't stop doing these things. That's what unconscious biases are. They're the way your mind works. Like, if you think that the way that your mind works is that you are rational and you can reason and you evaluate information, like, that is so not happening at all. And I'm sorry to tell you, but you're living in a delusion. Like, that's not at all what's happening. Your mind can be rational for moments. Like, you can make rational decisions, but you're not a rational being. You're a being with supra-rational capabilities and irrational capabilities and rational capabilities. Rationality is just one of your capabilities. It's not your nature. Your nature is not rational. There's any number when you make decisions, it's actually for like 7 different reasons. It's not for one rational reason. It's for all sorts of different reasons, and then you rationalize it so that you have a narrative that you can carry with yourself and maintain a healthy ego. Like, that's what's really going on. In any case, some people think these biased things are not real, and so they don't really engage in the topic, and so they don't get anything out of it, which is unfortunate. But they're lost. So those are 2 characters. The person who gets defensive, and probably because they've had bad experiences. And then there's also the person who thinks this is not real. And then there's, of course, the people who are all bought in and maybe go a little too gung-ho. Maybe believe a little too much in these. The unconscious biases are not like the answer to all questions. It's a topic. But there are the characters who, are maybe a little too much into this. And then there's the people who, like, very sincerely want to do something about it. They understand the topic. They understand that it means, like, we're talking about your mind's operating system. We're not talking about a bug in the operating system. We're not talking about a problem. It's more like, let's talk about how your elbow works so that you don't accidentally injure your elbow someday. Like, that's what the topic of unconscious biases is really meant to bring about. It's like, this is how your mind works. You have these things that are operating below what you assume is base reality. Base reality in your perceptions, in your conscious mind, in your narrative, in your belief system, your set of assumptions. Something is governing those. That set of assumptions, that, underlying narrative, that's governed by things. You're not living in some kind of pure objective reality. I mean, you are living in a pure objective reality, but it's not as though your perceptions in any way reflect that pure objective reality. This is what simulation theory is about, by the way. I'm not going to go into that right now, but people talk about simulation theory as though it's, what do they say, like there's 8 billion different possible views or something, and so how on earth are you supposed to know which one is real? And if there's only one real out of 8 billion, that's effectively 0, so we have to assume that the one we're in is a simulation. Like, all of that discussion, it's like, okay, I don't necessarily have a counter argument, because that's not the kind of thing you can disprove. That's more like a view. It's not an argument. But my assertion is that whole idea behind simulation theory, it's really talking about subjectivity. Your mind is a simulation. That's what the simulation theory is really about. Your mind, your mental model, your internal narrative or monologue, if you have a monologue. Your whole mental space is a simulation. It's this incomplete representation of reality, completely skewed through your perspective, and then further skewed by the fact that your processing mechanism has all these biases all over the place in it. So your mind, your mental space, that is the simulation. You're living in this simulated reality. It's as though you understand things. You can just get by day to day as if your mental model were at all accurate. But in truth, it's, 1 out of 8 billion incomplete. You're missing, 7,999,999,999% or whatever bits of information. And because your mind just operates with what it has, it doesn't know that it's missing all this information. And you think you understand things. Part of why I bring up this topic today and to be repeated in future streams. Part of why I bring up this topic, this is close to what my name means, reconsiderate. That's part of what that name means, that you should have a base attitude of deep humility and just know that, really, you don't really know anything. You should be prepared to reevaluate anything at any time. People who can do that, if you use my name like an adjective, people who themselves are rather reconsiderate as an adjective, people who can be very flexible and just ready to reevaluate anything. They have a lot of flexibility, these kinds of people. A lot of flexibility and a lot of peace. Or at least, how about this? They have the potential to experience greater peace than most others. Capacity to take your limited view, which brings you so much suffering and pain, to take that limited view and just let go of it. That is being reconsiderate. And for some people, that comes more easily than others. That's okay. Traitor to the living. right now. Person says how he was thinking about how in a recent stream we were talking about exercising. How I said I have a collection of exercises I do for my body's maintenance needs. And I forget who it was. Was it person? I forget who it was. But someone suggested that I should do those exercises on a live stream. I was like, really? You'd want to see that? Me clumsily doing my eclectic and highly tailored collection of exercises. And person's just commenting like, oh, I was thinking about that some more. Nice. So in any case, friends, in this past hour, we have wound up talking about we have wound up. Is that something doesn't sound conjugated right about that? We have wound up. We had wound up. We wound up. We wound up talking about the topic I was suggesting. I was just suggesting it to put it out there in the sphere, but then I just wound up talking about it. So the topic, once again, as a summary, the topic being that your mind abhors a vacuum, you don't know what you don't know. In fact, you think there is not anything to know, and you don't know when you're wrong because it feels right. You think you're right even when you're wrong. And there's all sorts of social problems that stem out of that personal shortcoming. So this blindness to blindness. That was what we talked about for the past hour. And of course, you know I love that stuff. Those are my favorite streams, when we have these discussions about things. So you can, of course, look forward to those. There's going to be more of that, of course. Just like there will also continue to be other streams where we don't talk about stuff like that. So there's going to be a combination of everything. And here today, not only did we get that awesome conversation, but we also got this dope beat, which is really just way dope. So we got this dope beat today. And it's better because you're here. I know you're here. You have an influence on what happens here. You matter. You make a difference. You have an impact. You matter. So thank you for being here. As we wind down and we come to our closing cheers, my regulars know The closing cheers happen so fast. Oh, it's already so you're gonna feel so connected with everybody when we do this. When we celebrate now together, you are gonna know that you belong and you are here with us. Friends, we're gonna do it so fast. The cheers moment that you've been looking forward to and which is so very fulfilling for you, it comes right now on a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Clink. Cheers, my friend. Man, that is good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share this video with a friend who would like it. I hope to see you again in the next live stream. My regulars know. We get together multiple times a week like this, here in your favorite online hangout. This is the anti-loneliness space. We do some live looping, we do some synth stuff. Sometimes we talk about things, that's called tinker time. Sometimes there's no talking at all, not a word from start to finish. Perfect for your instrumental needs. That's called unspoken. At the top of the screen, we got the times each week when we have scheduled streams. You can put these on your calendar. Eastern U.S. time zone, Sundays at 1 p.m., Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Join us. And my regulars know that we also do another bunch of streams each week. Usually another 2 or 3 streams. They could be any day, anytime. Enable notifications so that you can join us for those unscheduled streams as well. And until then, my friends, until then, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please allow the rest of your day today to bring you all manner of goodness and blessing today. Please receive all of the good blessings and goodness that is within your perimeter today. Please become receptive. Please allow yourself to receive all of the good things and blessings that are within your horizon today. Please permit yourself to become receptive to the idea, to the possibility of even more goodness and blessing. Things that you thought weren't even possible. Not for you. Things that aren't possible, period. Please allow yourself to become receptive to the idea that you might live and experience and receive those blessings today And I will see you in the next Reconsider It live stream.